you're unapologetic, which is fine. And I guess it seems to me that there's obviously a distinction between what you hope to accomplish versus what I hope to accomplish on YouTube. Because I have never made any type of derogatory comments towards Islam or atheism, and I've always strived to, when I have done something that has gone over the line, either taken down my video or apologized. And I think that illustrates a certain notion of a person, what it is that they're striving to get out of this. And it seems to me that I can't help but wonder, are you like, when you talk about phrases like the God cock and how you're not sure how there might be a better humorous way to describe a life spent on your knees giving God the pleasure of worship. Do you think my life is spent on my knees? I mean, I'm here on YouTube, right? You think I'm spending you don't think so it's funny because your inconsistencies. So in one way you get pissed when someone oversimplifies atheism and what it means, but in the same sense though, you turn right around and you present this oversimplified false picture of what Christianity is. And then you wonder why saying things like Godcock is I consider to be childish and elementary.
Well, Jack, the thing is that I do acknowledge that it's childish and insulting, but really saying that, really dismissing of you as Veritas seemed to, by simply saying, look, you couldn't possibly live a life of meaning, or you either have to have this or you have to wallow in despair. I mean, to me, I felt that that's really all that it merited, and it was a gut emotional reaction. And in many ways, yeah, I probably did go too far, but I do acknowledge that the phrase is a childish, mockery of your worldview. But then again, I felt that that's all that what Veritas was saying. The issue over what you find to be the meaning of life has been addressed, and it really seems to me, no matter how thoroughly that it's addressed, there's like a fallback of, well, you should just live in this nihilistic despair. And I had a comment about the exact same thing this morning, and really, I'm at an utter loss, and I would like to hear from you and from Veritas what it is that about what you believe the meaning of life is that is going to change what I do with my life, whether it be, what I do after I finish this discussion, whether or not I eat some ice cream or go to sleep or read a book or watch television, etc. How is that going to change whether or not I believe that my purpose is going to worship God? And also, how am I going to enjoy my life anymore? And also, doesn't it seem like there are some ancillary consequences to this belief that your purpose is to worship God, like actually taking what Jesus said seriously, casting away your possessions, and living as he actually said, which I don't really see many Christians doing. It seems that while it may be a provocative phrase, that I don't actually see people unpacking and being honest with what it is that they are posing as an alternative, and that's part of where I'm coming from with this phrase.
But Tim, here's the thing though, is I understand where you're coming from with regards to this phrase, but Veritas 48's purpose in that video was to describe why he was not an atheist. And in that video, he is describing why he is not an atheist, giving reasons for why he is not an atheist. And I find it odd that people are getting upset that a Christian, essentially it seems to me that Christian cannot give reasons for why they are not an atheist without an atheist essentially. There's already been you and Colin666 who have responded in these overly emotional ways when Veritas 48 was very, very clear that he was given reasons for why he was not an atheist. He was not saying that you have no meaning in your life. He never said that in his video. Rather, he was pointing out what he considered to be an inconsistency with this idea of meaning in philosophically speaking, with reference to meaning in a person's life. In no way did he say at any point in his video that atheists live meaningless or hopeless lives. He never said that at all, and I feel like some people really try to strawman him. I feel like you tried to do that.
Okay, let me clarify, Jack. What he said was the atheist worldview is unlivable. That is exactly, or not exact, is nearly as I can remember exactly of what he said. He said the atheist lifestyle is unlivable. Now, what I take away from that is the fact that, again, when I get done this, I'll probably pop in some of the Doctor Who DVDs that I rented from Netflix. According to Veritas's worldview, or what he was saying, I should go, I should just be like, oh, it's pointless. Why should I bother watching this? That I shouldn't, if I truly believe what I believe, that I shouldn't actually be able to derive any pleasure from, the Ben and Jerry's ice cream I got in my fridge, or the television that I watch, or etc. of the actual moment-to-moment experiences of my life. That I should not be able to actually find out those things fulfilling and meaningful because they are not performed under the overarching. Under some overarching meta-narrative. Now the thing is that idea has been rebutted, or at least has been tackled in an actual honest and intellectual way. And I know for a fact that Veritas is aware of that. But in his video, it's like he is completely unaware of he acted as if no one had ever presented a objection to what he was saying before in the past. When in fact, I know for a fact that I've made videos about it before, and he said, well, I thought about making a video response to that. But I mean, it's a gross simplification of human psychology, and it is essentially underselling what I mean. I don't think that he was being really honest about his proposed alternative. Again, as I said in my most recent video, worshiping God I really could think of nothing more futile. An all-powerful being does not need me at all to worship him. If the purpose of this life is to go to heaven, well, what happens when I get to heaven? Is that just a meaningless string of experiences? And there are all of these questions that have been posed, and Veritas either ignores or his answer was just completely, what would be the best way to put it? It wasn't actually giving any acknowledgement to some of the more serious answers. Even he acknowledged parts of Dan Mill's video, the very end of it, but Dan Mill's point about Valhalla, for example, once you get there and once you train to fight for the end of the world, then what's the point of that?
Yeah, but Tooltime, I find these are sort of like peripheral